Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the SFR podcast. Yes, I don't believe it. We're back for an episode two. I can't believe that it wasn't cancelled last week after JB, but we're here with another SFR driver. This time it's Racing Pod, winner this season. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, buddy. I'm just fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Man. Not too bad, not too bad. Thank you. Just really happy that this series worked quite well last week, and can't wait to continue it.
Yeah, it was a really good episode with JB, and hopefully I can top that one. But you're doing a great job with this, so why not?
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, we have our personal interests, maybe outside of Formula One, which we'll definitely get into. But
Yeah.
first, is it okay if we can just talk about what you've done so far in SFR this season? Because I've done my research of your results, and you
Yeah.
just give us a rundown of how you're feeling. But I'll quickly just so everyone knows if they've not been keeping up with the GP4, which you're, I'm going to say now, a title contender in my humble opinion. I commentated over your win in Bahrain, I believe. So that was one result there, Bahrain. But as well, you got a second to start off the series, and then you got a sixth in China and an eighth in Baku and Azerbaijan. Up and down, but overall your pace seems pretty good. You're always in the mix, and the last two races have been mostly because of incidents. You would have been right up there on podiums if you didn't get involved.
Yeah. The start of the season was really good. I didn't expect the podium there the first race, so we're really happy with that one. So I thought I need to start practicing and be on the podium in Bahrain too. And got the win there, surprisingly. Very happy, my first win in SFR. Then I have some bad luck, China and Baku, but still some points on the board. So hopefully this week in Spain I can be back up there with the guys on the podium.
Absolutely, and I was going to say I think it's your first win and many more to come. Any circuits you're particularly looking forward to going forward?
I especially really like France. I think it's a good technical circuit. Belgium, of course, Spa. I think that's most drivers' favorite. Um, that's about it. I like most tracks, but the most favorite I have to say is France.
Is there any circuits you're actually dreading and you just do not want to race there because you think you're going to have a bad time?
That will be Monaco probably. So tight and so easy to do mistakes there, like in Baku.
Fair enough. Okay, so obviously going forward, me and you, we've raced against each other though. Obviously, I think it was last season. We were in the
Yeah.
same. I think we were both on the podium actually in France last season, if I'm not
I think
mistaken.
so. Yeah.
I think we shared the
Yeah.
podium. That was my
Yeah.
one claim to fame. But how do you find? Obviously, you've been involved in your fair share of incidents. Talk us through those, even if you may have a strong opinion on those. Do you think that they were your fault, or do you think they were someone else's fault? You don't have to name names if you don't want to, but just talk us through, especially the one in China, because I was there for that and it was quite interesting.
Yeah. It was not a too good race. I don't like that track too much. I can't remember now what happened.
All I know is that you got wing
yeah,
damage on the first lap, and then you had to get, then you were
yeah,
kind of just trying to battle your way through the
yeah,
field,
yeah,
and
yeah. I spun second corner. I got cold tires. Didn't expect that, so I got on the throttle way too early and spun off. Damaged the wing later that lap. Someone braked in front of me, but that's racing, so I had to pit and yeah, up and down race for me. Like in Baku, is yeah, started bad, middle good, so the end very bad.
fair enough. And obviously, I think Baku is one we won't mention too often because I think it's one to forget for you. Really, you were mostly in the top three, and then last few laps it all fell apart there. Really.
Yeah, I broke down totally, but I'm happy for those points.
That can happen though. That's how league racing works. But moving forward, I think it just do you think you can bounce back from this, or do you think it's going to take a couple of weeks to kind of get back in the groove, or do you think you can just be instantly back in the fight?
My goal is to be back in fight here in Spain. I haven't done any practice yet, but I will probably start with that this evening.
Fair enough.
Continuing tomorrow, and hopefully I can be up there at the podium. I think I got the pace to be there, so let's hold our thumbs.
Absolutely, and I think I'll be commentating that one. So,
All right.
do be proud. And this is going to sound horrible if I'm not commentating it, but make sure just have a really good time out there. And okay, so we're gonna talk about a little thing that me and you have a big admiration for, and that is a sport that is speedway, motorsport. Obviously we are both. I'm going to say huge fans. Would that be the correct term for you as well? I mean, I'm certainly.
Yeah, that would be the correct term, mate.
I'm going to be honest. I'm on an F1 podcast, but I would even say I prefer it to Formula One. I don't know about you, but for me, it was what I was brought up on. So sorry to all the F1 fans out there, but it is what about you though? What would you say is more exciting for you out of the two?
It's the speedway. It's a speedway.
I love this. I love this. I love this already.
Yeah, speedway is that's a number one sport. I'm born and raised with it. So, but I really love Formula One too. But if I had to choose a Grand Prix in speedway or a Formula One Grand Prix, I would probably choose a speedway Grand Prix.
Absolutely, and I'll just quickly take someone through an actual lap of Speedway, because I guess this is still relevant to Formula One as motorsport. We're gonna have some fun with it. The podcast isn't SFR specific, so Speedway essentially it's motorbikes, 50cc. I think and then it's a clutch start, but they have no brakes, and they're around an oval circuit for 4 laps on dirt. So it's possibly the scariest 60 seconds of any motorsport ever, really, because these bikes,
1 minute of full action.
And normally, no matter who you got, everyone has. It's very different to something like Formula One, where teams are involved with other teams, like Mercedes are involved with Ferrari. Everyone can do something in Speedway, even if there is no one's off the cards for winning a race. You can have someone who's only scored 2 points out of the entire meeting, but then they win the last race. So that's never going to happen in Formula One, because it's all down to money. Whereas in Speedway, it's more just your actual raw talent.
Yeah, I agree with that, bud.
And also, we have a little rivalry between ourselves, because your favourite at the minute anyway is Fast Freddie Lindgren.
Yep.
And my favourite is possibly his biggest rival, Britain's Ty Woffington. And those two, they don't really get along very well, do they? So, especially on track.
But they're two excellent riders, though.
Absolutely, Freddie did an amazing job. There was an incident last weekend in Melilla. You were in Melilla.
Yep.
It was certainly, as one of the commentators would say, Kelvin, he always calls it the thriller in Melilla. It certainly was that, especially when rain started to come down. I think around heat 5, heat 6, but it halted off, luckily. But there was an incident between 3 riders. One of them was his favourite, Freddie Lindgren. The other was an Australian, Max Frick, and the other was a Dane, Mikkel Mikkelsen. And essentially what happened was Mikkel put Max Frick towards the fence. Frick had to get off the bike. But as he was doing this, the other rider, Patrick Dudek, came down, and Freddie Lindgren was obviously going straight towards Dudek, and he had to hop his bike over the top of Dudek and narrowly avoided him, and that could have been painful. It could have been the end of Dudek's career if that didn't go too well.
Yeah, it looked really scary.
How was it live? Talk me through that, seeing that, obviously, because it happens so quickly. I mean, we get replays at home, but seeing it live and raw, it must be. Although it's, I don't want to say that you're like demonic and you enjoy that stuff. Although it's quite fun and riveting to watch, it must be quite scary as well, because you have no idea what's going on. Luckily, we have commentary to talk us through it, but you're kind of in the dark.
Really scary until you see the riders get up on their legs. They were really worried until they get up. So it looked horrible, that crash. Luckily, Freddie was fast there and got his bike up on the back wheel and could avoid Patrick. So really scary until they got up on their legs again, and the audience gave them a really good cheer.
Absolutely. And Freddie went on to win that night to my, I don't want to say my disgust because I think he deserved it, but we were texting throughout the night, and you were there was a race between Woofy and Freddie Ty Wolfenden, and Wolfenden just bottled it, and it was unfortunate for me. But what is your favourite maybe favourite meeting in Speedway, and do you follow Swedish Speedway? If you do, who's your favourite team? So put me through that. Like, what do you put specifically in the modern day about Speedway? What do you really like about it, and who do you follow? And talk me through that.
Yeah, yeah. I was following the Swedish league, the Elite League, the results and so, and I try to catch a little Polish and British Speedway too, just on the internet and so, and of course all the Grand Prix and so. I don't really have any favorite team here in Sweden. It's just I like the racing, and there are a lot of good teams. We had a team here for a couple of years ago. We still got a team, a little track though, but when we have the 500cc team, we rode in the big leagues, so that was fun. I was a mechanic at those days.
Fair enough. That must, yeah, you've done that. So talk us through that. Obviously, most of the people watching might not know these names, but talk us through some of the names you rode with, and perhaps what they went on to do, and well, not rode with, was an engineer for in the pit crew, and just talk us through who you kind of worked with.
Yeah, I was the mechanic of our British guys riding in the Swedish team at that time. It was Chris Louis, Mark Loram, the '09 world champion, I think. Mark Lemon, he is now the coach in the Australian national team. And,
Also manages the
Thomas,
Bellevue Aces down in Manchester.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And Thomas de Pink, I have been a mechanic, so
that's a
I have
name and a half. Thomas
yeah,
Topinka. That's a name from my
yeah, the
past.
Czech.
God, that was ages ago. Jeez.
Yeah. He's the Prague Grand Prix in Speedway. He was the track manager, fixing the track, and so I saw him in the tractor. Oh, that's my old rider.
What was the first Grand Prix you went to see live?
I think it was Målilla, the first Grand Prix. Then I've been to France, and I've been to Gothenburg, Ullevi, when they rode there.
What
So I've
year was
been
the
around.
Malilla? If you can remember, what year was Malilla the first
Oh,
time you went? If you have any
I
idea.
don't know. It's so long ago. I'm an old man now.
What?
I don't know. It's really a long time ago, though.
So you went to Malilla obviously last this year.
No. But by the way, I think Linköping was the first Grand Prix I ever went to.
Oh, nice.
It's 90s, I think, somewhere.
Back in the 90s, I wasn't even thought of. So, but so what? So apart from obviously going live, do you have any sort of season as a kid, or that you just remember loving Speedway as watching it, maybe not even going live, just watching the Grand Prix and just really enjoying it?
Yeah, I love Speedway. I will never miss a Grand Prix for my life. I'm following it like I follow in Formula One. I try not to miss anything. It's a big passion I have. Motorsports of all of its kinds.
Absolutely, and I'm trying to get JB to watch some, but he says he doesn't like bikes, so you never know what the point is. But I'm trying to get him to watch some because I think when you get really into Speedway, you get really into it.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you. Have you enjoyed any specific meeting this season? Obviously, you went to Manila, but did you watch the Speedway of Nations as well? And
Yes.
which
In Russia.
we won't talk about for me. If you might have an idea why. It was heartache for the British team. That 2 days of pain. Um, you did alright. Did they come fourth or fifth?
I don't remember. Fourth or fifth, somewhere there, I think.
Um, fair. We came seventh out of seven.
Yeah, it's still a position, mate.
Yeah, but when you lose Ty Wofford to the Robert Lambert,
Yeah.
that was heartache. The first heat for Britain, they take each other out. It's like, oh no, here we go. What are we gonna do?
What's happening?
What? And then, but we at least had Chris Harris. Yay! Oh god. So obviously, you've told me this, but who's your favourite speedway rider of all time?
That would be Tony Rickardsson,
Obviously, Teddy
the
Rickardsson,
Swede.
possibly one of
Yeah,
the, one of the most,
seven-time world
yeah,
champion.
one of the most successful riders ever. He obviously I'm a bit young to really remember him, but I have glimpses of Teddy Rickardsson. Do you know when his last season in the Grand Prix was? I'm gonna quickly Google it. Just,
Ooh,
do you have any rough idea? I'm gonna Google it now anyway. So it's a little quiz for you, so if
yeah.
you get the year right. Have any idea?
I'm thinking. I don't remember. I think I have to Google.
I'm googling it now. He's still doing all right. It's not doing too bad. Tony
Okay.
Rickard. He's only 49. So thought he'd be a bit older than that now, but you know,
Yeah.
that's just me getting there. So his last season was, I'm gonna give you a clue, it was in the 2000s.
2005,
Cor-
6.
Correct, 2005 was the last season.
Yeah.
Now,
I thought about maybe around there somewhere.
I would say he's probably the best behind Greg Hancock and Thomas Gollop. Obviously, I think no one can deny Greg Hancock is possibly the best Grand Prix rider of all time. Until this year, unfortunately, because his wife has got cancer, he couldn't take part. But before this year, he was in every single Grand Prix ever. So my well
Oh,
wishes go to Greg, obviously, and hopefully he can get back in next season. But what a gutting loss
yeah.
to the Grand Prix series this year.
Yeah, really. He's a really showman, and he belongs in the Grand Prix series.
Absolutely, because if you don't know, I think he's either nearing 50 or he is over 50 now. He's but
Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't near 50 something or somewhere.
but he's still got it. Like he
Yeah.
could still go.
Uh,
Whereas most people they give up ages for them. And just to make an
yeah.
F1 link, I don't know whether you know this, but did you know that Mark Webber, the Red Bull driver, was a massive
Yeah.
Speedway
Yeah.
fan? He'd always
Yeah.
go to the Grand Prix.
I've seen and attend a few Grand Prix.
Me too. Now, if you could attend one Grand Prix, what would it be?
That would probably be Cardiff, I think. There you are going to go.
I am going. Yeah, I went in 2015 as well when your man Antonio Limbach beat Ty Woffington on the line in the final
Yeah,
to
that's
heartache.
right.
To heartache.
Mm, I think so. I believe you.
Because obviously, if you guys don't know, in Speedway is the biggest sport in Poland. Poland are the biggest team, but in Poland, Speedway is bigger than football. Like that is
Yeah,
a
it's
statistic.
huge.
Like I believe that it was the first Grand Prix. Was it in Leszno? It opened up this season. Something to
Yeah,
like 80,000, which
unbelievable.
is ludicrous. And
Yeah,
it was packed to the rafters. I mean, I'm going to the Principality. I don't know what the actual capacity of that is, but that's a big place. But that isn't 80,000. Um,
no.
and most of the times, I don't know whether was it like a Polish section in Manila, or was it mostly just? But no Poles normally go all around the world to watch their ride.
Yeah, it was pretty much poles there, but a little bit spread out. But the poles are always on their seats when
Uh,
there's Grand Prix.
so I'm going to ask you the difficult question this year before you go back to F1 for a little bit and possibly come back to Speedway. Who's going to
Yeah.
win the World Championship this season? Because it's so tight. Who have you got?
Oh, that's a hard one. I will believe if Marslick don't crash and hurt himself, I think he will be a big contender to the world title.
See, I would
Same
love
as
Seifertino,
Saifutino.
but he needs to,
Saifutino is really fast too.
but he needs to be more consistent because he had a terrible night in
Yeah,
Balilla. He had a terrible night.
yeah. That's why I think Marslick will win it if don't crash out and injure himself.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go back to F1 for a little bit, just regular F1. What do you think of the state? What do you think of the state F1's in at the minute? In terms
What I
of,
think of
is it enjoyable for you? Do you enjoy watching an F1 Grand Prix at the minute?
Up and down. Some of the races have been good, but most races have been pretty sleepy.
Yeah, most
Don't
of
happen
it
too much.
is unfortunately in the modern day it's just Mercedes, the
Yeah,
fastest. And
yeah,
although I
but
understand how that's the politics of Formula One, I don't.
no,
That's why I don't enjoy it as much as Speedway because it's all down to money. And I get
yeah,
that, like that's fine. People enjoy that. People enjoy the politics behind it. But I much preferred it back in the day when I didn't know any of that stuff. I just thought it was just people being really bad at driving and some being really good. Now I know it's all come down to money. It kind of dilutes the. Obviously, there's very good drivers like Verstappen that can get the car up there, but
yeah,
you do like when you realise there are people like Russell who are 16th who could be one of the best drivers in the grid, but we don't know because he's in a Williams that has zero funding, or especially compared to the Mercedes. Um, it just becomes a bit disheartening because it's not down to driver ability anymore. It's down to just money.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. It's killing the sport slowly. I think it should be like in IndyCar. They have one chassis for all of them, and it's very like the other cars, so any driver can win there. It's make it more fun racing, I think.
And if you guys enjoy the politics behind it, that's fine. I'm just saying that it becomes a bit annoying when you know that well you're going to go Wilson because again I'm thinking about Speedway. I don't think I've ever gone to a Speedway Grand Prix knowing who's going to actually win. But now I know it's going to be Hamilton. If it's not Hamilton, it's going to be Verstappen or Bottas. Because who else can win? The
Yeah,
Ferraris are nowhere. But in a Speedway Grand Prix, even though I can go Smarzlik's on form, if he drops 1 point, he might not get the specific gate he needs to start a race, and then he's not going to win. But
yeah, yeah,
it's a lot more exciting, I think, as well. A lot of people have an issue with the length of an F1 race. Do you have an issue with that? I don't personally. I think it's fine. I think if the cars were a lot closer, it wouldn't feel as long as it does.
is it me?
I said, do you think the length of an F1 race is a bit too long,
Yeah,
or are you okay with the length of an F1 race?
I'm pretty okay with it. I think it's uh it's okay, but when the races become boring and it's just car after car, it's good. It's I'm getting sleepy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's okay.
Let's talk about you a little bit. Obviously, you showed me your bike earlier that you actually went on. But is there anything other than motorsport that you have interest in that you would like to share?
You disappeared for a moment. Sorry.
I said, obviously we know you like motorsport, but is there anything other than motorsport that you rather enjoy?
Yeah, out. I have my motorbike. I'm out driving as much as I can when I'm not at work. So I've been out all day today with it. So that's great. Need to do it now before the winters come.
Absolutely. You sent me a lovely. It is a very nice motorbike.
Yeah, I love it.
You sent
It's
me.
my
You
precious.
sent me a photo earlier. So yeah, it's a very nice motorbike.
Yeah, I love it.
Um, let's talk about down the road in SFR. How do you feel the four-tier system has worked for you? Because obviously back in the day, it used to be 3 tiers and 2 tiers. Now it's four. Does that make the racing closer in SFR for you?
Yeah, I think so. I moved down to GP4, the new series for this season, and I think we are a great bunch of guys that matches pace evenly. So very nice racing at GP4. I've now become admin too for FSR and SFR and before, so that's exciting too. Big honor for me.
Do you see yourself, obviously don't be cocky, but do you see yourself as a title contender this season?
Um, I see a lot of us like as title competitors, so I think it would be a really good fight right into the finish line in Abu Dhabi.
Cool. Who is your favourite F1 driver? Because we haven't genuinely never talked about this. So who's your favourite F1 driver of all time and perhaps current as well?
That's a really hard one. We got Ronnie Peterson, the Super Swede. It was a really favorite, but Michael Schumacher is the greatest. So he was in Ferrari. That was when I started watching watch Formula One, so I have to say Schumi. So that's well my favorite from the older ages. But right now I have my faith in Ferrari and Sebastian Vettel. I'm a really big Ferrari fan. So, but I really like that Honda and Red Bull and Max is getting it together. So fun for them.
So has the season been a bit disappointing for you then with Ferrari's disappointing results and pace?
Yeah, I expected them to do way much better than they are doing. So it's really a disappointment, actually. I think they should have kept Kimi for one more year, but maybe because I'm a big Kimi fan too.
I mean, who doesn't love Kimi though? Am I right? Everyone loves a bit of
Yeah,
Kimi Räikkönen. I think he's one of the. I think I think he'll be remembered fondly as one of the all-time greats. You know, just
yeah, I think so too.
I
He's a
think
legend already.
some people don't. Some people don't like him because they find him a bit too blunt. But that's what I like about him. I think he's just
Yeah,
great because he'll just say it as it is. Like,
he really is himself all the time.
I I'm a massive Hamilton fan, but I'm not a huge Hamilton fan.
Yeah, he's good, Hamilton. Yeah,
Obviously, I respect
he's a
him as a driver.
very good racer.
Obviously, I respect him as a driver. I think he's a bit of a moaner. If it doesn't go his way, he'll moan down the radio for the majority of the race. Um,
Yeah,
and I might not like half the stuff he does off track, but I respect him. But I actually, all right. Out of all the 20 drivers, who do you think is my personal favorite? Let you take a guess.
um, hard one. Let's say Max Verstappen.
Oh, he is third. My favourites,
Uh,
they always swap between Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. 'Cause I think,
Lando, I forgot him. He's British.
yeah, and I also like Ricciardo just because I think he got a bit screwed over by the Red Bull system, in my personal opinion. But that's a
Yeah,
conversation for another day because there'll be a lot of angry Verstappen
Ricardo
fans.
seems like a great guy.
I have a lot of
Also a
angry
big smile.
Verstappen fans in the comments now telling me how I'm wrong, and you know what can you do?
Yeah.
Uh, what with what's going on in F1 right now? Do you think that there is a chance for it to be fixed, or do you think it's just going to slowly get worse and worse?
What do you mean, but worse and worse?
Well, but we already talked about the differences between cars. Do you think that's going to get
Yeah.
larger, or do you think they're slowly going to close together?
Probably, unfortunately, I think it's going to be larger if they don't do anything with it, with the costs and so. I think it's Ferrari and Mercedes. That's the big dogs that have the money. Sorry, Red Bull too.
It is just frustrating. And obviously, as a kid, you're oblivious to the money side of things, so you can just enjoy the racing.
Yeah.
Back when I was younger, in about 2009, that shows how young I am. I was about 8. That's when I started watching, and obviously, Lewis was in his beginning at McLaren in the best looking car that has ever existed. Sorry to anyone that disagrees with that, but the red and silver McLaren will always be my
Yeah.
favourite car of all
It
time.
yeah. It was beautiful.
Uh, and and then obviously he teamed with Jensen, I think in 2010, 2011. Uh, that was my dream team. Jensen better than Lewis Hamilton, obviously, but
Yeah.
it it wasn't frustrating back then. But now I know a lot of people that tuned out of F1 mainly because they don't understand how complicated it is. And obviously, it's meant to be complicated. It's motorsport, you need it to be. But a lot of people are just like, well, it's boring because I know the Mercedes are going to win every time. So for someone like us who are quite avid fans, we can kind of look past it. But it is killing the general audience in a way.
Yeah. I think someone is watching Formula One from now to then. They don't will think it's boring, but with the hardcore the F1 fans, we will watch it and understand that more of the technical stuff. So
Absolutely,
it's got more
absolutely,
interesting for us.
absolutely. I'm gonna go back to Speedway for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Grand Prix Challenge is coming out today. I'm going to try and see whether I can find some way to watch it. I don't know about you. Um,
If you find anything, please send me a link.
There's always a way to find these things. But I'm going to quickly run you down the list of the competitors, and you're going to tell me the 3 people you think are going through. Okay?
What did you say?
I'm going to run you down the list of people that are racing, and you're going to tell me the 3 that are going through to next year's Grand Prix.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm just going to get the picture up, and I'm going to run them down for you. So this is a thing. So essentially, what the Grand Prix challenge is because every year there are 16 riders in the Grand Prix, 15 permanent riders, and now a wild card every time. So when we go to a different country, someone of that country will get a chance to race in the Grand Prix. And the top 8 after the end of the series, so 8 people, the top 8 riders, they remain in next year's series. Bottom 8 are out, but the organisers who organise the FIM, they get to choose 3 riders they think are good enough to go in the series. The other 3 are chosen by this thing called the Grand Prix Challenge, which is a bunch of different events where they have to qualify. It's essentially like qualifying for F1, but this time it's for an entire series, if that makes sense. So the 16 riders, this is in Gorishan in Croatia, which has had a Grand Prix before. So 16 riders are Niels Krishneversen, Jurica Pavlic, Smolinski, Anders Thompson, Valego, Frick, Pontus Aspergen, Kenneth Beer, Lambert, Vasilik, Long, Zagar, Mikkelsen, Cook, Loktayev, and Chris Harris. Who are you choosing as your 3 to go through?
Ooh, that's a really hard one. It's a lot of good riders there, but Lambert for sure, I think.
As long
He's
as
an
he's fit.
upcoming.
As long as he's fit. I know he's there,
Yeah,
but as long as he's fit enough, I think he'll do it.
yeah. Sagar is strong. He's in the Grand Prix series now, isn't he?
Yeah, but yeah, he's in the Grand Prix series, so is Vasilik. But they do
Yeah.
have some crossover. I don't think Sager's going to do it personally. I
No,
think he's past
no.
it. I think Vasilik will get in there considering he's 4th. But that would
Yeah,
mean even
Vasilik.
if he wins the championship, or even if he's in the top 8, that means the 4th person from this series will go through. So I'll say Vasilik's
Yeah,
already in the top 8 and he's going to go through. So we won't include him.
yeah, I think so. But
So
Lambert, I say Sagar, and then I think Max Frick is really, really good this year. So yeah, I think those 3. We got 2 Swedes as well. I don't know. Maybe if they have a good night, they can do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to swap one of the answers. I think Frick and Lambert are correct. I'm going to change out.
Yeah.
I'm going to change out Zager, and I'm going to put in Mikkelsen. I think is going to go through as well. I think. Interestingly, no polls in that one.
No,
I don't
no
know
polls
what.
at all.
I don't know what happened there. You think Smetala maybe would have a chance? I don't know, but
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
the FIM was like, there's too many polls. Go away.
Yeah.
But no, I hope
It is a lot of polls in the Grand Prix. So, but that's the biggest sport. So
there's 3 Brits. Hopefully, one of them goes through for my sanity.
yeah.
If it's Chris Harris, I'll laugh because Chris Harris is my favourite of all time, mainly because
All right.
when I obviously when I was a kid, like a young kid, he was
The bomber.
that was when he was really good. And unfortunately, he's getting a bit old now, he's getting a bit past it. But if he makes it through, I don't think he'll do anything, but I would genuinely love it.
Yeah, go Harris.
Yeah, go Harris, man. One of the. I'm gonna say I don't really remember this. It might have been back in 2008 in Cardiff. He was a wild card because there was no British rider in the Grand Prix at the time, I don't think. And he somehow made it to the final. This young kid, this wonder kid, he made it through to the final, and he's second throughout the final, the entire race, until the final corner when he goes around the outside of Greg Hancock on the line and snatches the win. Do you remember that? That was one of the biggest moments.
Yeah.
What mental!
Go around the outside of Greg is not the easiest task either. So very nice. I think the stadium must have been blown up when he passed the finish line there. But did you were there, buddy?
No, I wasn't there at the time, though, but I watched it on TV. It was one of the early memories I had as a kid.
Yeah.
It was one of those times where because Speedway is one of those sports as well. It's so competitive. Like F1's competitive in a way, but Speedway is so competitive on the night itself. Like, it's the points you get is like because there's less Speedway rounds than there is F1. Every round counts essentially. There's no coming back. If you make a mistake on one round, you like Butinov now could essentially, if he doesn't pick up the pace immediately again, he's out of the championship because how close the championship is. So
Yeah, it's really
every
tight.
meeting counts. So I get quite involved. So has there been any like a raw emotion from you in Speedway? Have you ever like just been either really happy at one point or really sad? Have you ever cried? Have you ever like jumped out of your seat? So have there ever been any moment like that where you just felt raw passion?
Yeah. I was so happy. I was had a euphoria. I was really happy. So it became a couple of beer that night,
What night was that?
celebrating.
What night was that? Was that Manila last weekend?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt
That was
sorry.
great.
I felt sorry for Lingard having to pose with a hot dog. I was like, what's that sponsorship? Because when he went to the podium,
Yeah.
he had to. Why? But yeah, a few beers down.
Yeah.
The Speedway of Nations for me was just absolutely. It was getting smashed on vodka because of how depressed I was. I'm joking, obviously. Don't kids don't get
It,
smashed
w-
on vodka, but it was definitely a
it was
depressing
in
night.
Russia though.
Yeah, Togliatti. It was a night
Yeah.
to forget. Nice track though, but wasn't very good for racing. So talk me through this because it's something I don't understand. How do you watch Speedway in Sweden? Is it like the same commentators that we get? Is it in English and Swedish? Um,
Uh, I don't have actually the channels to watch where they broadcast it. They're gonna have too much money for it, so I often find a site and stream it from there and watch the races and so.
no, you
But
don't. No, you
the
don't.
Grand no, I'm just kidding, mate.
No, it's fine.
uh,
It's fine. It's fine. I don't think.
yeah,
I don't
but
think. I
the
don't
Grand
think.
Prix is going on Swedish TV, so I watch all the Grand Prix and Speed of Nations too. But
Yeah,
don't the GP channels, unfortunately.
yeah. Unfortunately, as well, it's quite difficult. It's not like football where you can just go and watch any game you like because like there's 16 football matches on a week. Speedway,
Yeah,
especially in the UK, you get one Grand Prix a week and one league match a week, and then you have to
yeah,
kind of do your own digging through, not necessarily nefarious means. You just have to like find someone watching the game, recording it on their phone or whatever, and watching it through there. But it, the passion of a Speedway fan is next to none, I think, with those sorts of things.
yeah.
And right, we're gonna begin to wrap this up now with what I did last week. We're gonna do some quick fire questions. So I'm gonna ask you one thing or the other, and you're gonna tell me which you prefer. Or I'm gonna ask you a question, you're gonna answer quickly.
Yeah, I'm ready, buddy.
Right, so we're gonna start with favorite race of the season so far in Formula One.
I have to say Germany, the rain race.
Good choice. Favorite Grand Prix of the Speedway calendar this season.
Uh, the thriller in Malila, of
Uh,
course.
yeah, Ricardson or Lindgren?
Ricardson or
Lindgren.
Lindgren, I have to say.
Would you rather drive an F1 car or ride a Speedway bike?
I have ridden a speedway bike, so I have to say drive an F1 car.
If you could drive any F1 car of all time, what car would it be?
Niki Lauda's Ferrari.
And we're gonna wrap it up with finally, who do you think is gonna be the next world champion after Lewis in F1?
I think Max Verstappen gonna be named.
Okay, mate. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure, and good luck for the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
thank you,
Um,
buddy. Hope I
and
did well.
no, man, you did absolutely brilliantly. Thank you guys for the response on episode 1 as well, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I don't know who's on next week, but I'll try and figure it out. And yeah, we'll see you guys all soon. We'll see you on track on Monday in Spain.
Yep.
And catch you guys all soon. Take care. Have a good weekend. Have a good rest of your weekend because it comes out on Sunday. We're filming this on Saturday. So have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys all soon. Have a good time.
Been a pleasure. Been a pleasure to be here, Alex.
Thank you, man. And we'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Yep. Bye.